let's just do a summary of what are some of the gifts. We were talking about how breakups can be a gift. So let's just summarize that basically. What has it been for you? Like number one, from what we discussed, was that for both you and I, we became clear on it's not so much about the person. It is about them, but it's more about the relationship you create together.
And the feelings.
The fit.
As in, are you feeling like happy and good and most of the time?
Yes. When you're with the person, you feel great. When you're not with the person, you feel great. You don't feel like you need to text them, or what are they doing now, or can you trust them, or you don't have those kind of things about it. And then the other thing you feel in the relationship is you can be yourself. It feels very natural and organic.
Yeah, I think that's like really when it feels something just feels natural. It's like there's no thought even. It just is.
Yeah. There's an ease and flow about it, like you were saying. Those were the words I think you were using. So that would be like the number one gift. So for me it was we were saying that it's not about you feeling that I'm so in love, I want to spend just be with them all the time, text them all the time, phone them all the time, almost like kind of thingy. It's not like an obsession thingy. It's not that. That's like infatuation. There's a maturity about it, in that you feel comfortable with the person, you feel like trusting and safe when they're not with you. When they are with you, you feel that as well. And like 95% of the time, the relationship feels nurturing and loving and supportive. Agree?
Yeah.
So that was the first thing, that's the first gift that we discussed about when you have a breakup. I think the second thing was you realize how your childhood impacts especially your first couple of experiences, maybe in terms of the partners that you're choosing, and how they will trigger things you haven't dealt with, suppressed emotions during your childhood, whether it be things like you having felt maybe abandoned. You may have an experience with your parents where you're feeling abandoned. You may have an experience with your parents where you're feeling unimportant, any of those kind of things.
Yeah, so it's basically then just a lot of things just being brought up for you to kind of process.
Take a look at, heal, let go, whatever needs to happen. Yeah. And we both come from childhoods where our fathers weren't playing a big role in. My father was around till maybe, for me, till age 16, I would say. Whereas your father was really not around at all. He decided not to really play much of a role. But that is important, because you tend to choose someone that makes you feel the feelings that you had in the experiences that you had with your father.
Yeah.
Like me with my father, you with, or anybody.
Or whoever the parent.
Yeah. So if you felt like you were abandoned, you'll have that coming up in your relationship. If you felt like you were insignificant, that may be feelings coming up. So it's just life saying, look at that, heal that. And
the thing is, once you kind of heal, like we said, like once you kind of heal those things, it will just allow for a lot more ease.
Yeah, it will be a different experience showing up. So maybe the next layer of stuff that you need to look at, for example. All right. So that was the second thing, that just be aware that when you are choosing a partner, if you have these kind of issues, you're going to look for someone that's going to be friendly to those issues. So if you have like a father that made you feel abandoned, you're going to look for a relationship that makes you not feel safe in this relationship.
They, like you say, they kind of soothe
the fire.
Basically.
The wounds.
Yeah.
They like a balm.
The aloe vera.
Yes. It feels like that. Exactly. Yeah. So you're feeling you can be comfortable with this person.
And also like you also do that for them. That's when it's like a really good fit.
It's a good fit, yes. And then the third part about gift that I have gotten, and you also, from having had breakups, is this thing where we have to believe that you hurt me. We believe that people out there,
or just anything outside.
Yes, external stuff can hurt you.
Yeah.
And then to have the realization and the clarity, it's about the thoughts that you're thinking in response to either the person or the situation or the event. That's what's causing you hurt. And you have control over that. So when you decide, I'm going to allow my ego to play this out, no, just choose it with choice. And
like with that awareness, like I'm choosing this, and then
and be aware of it. This is my ego playing out, and then you may have a good look at what is happening there. What are some of the programs that are running you? And then in your meditation, you could maybe address those programs.
It's really interesting to look at things like from that subjective view, is in this, you know, like through my eyes, and that objective view of like the overhead.
So we wanted to do this video because you and I have a lot of these kind of discussions, and then we always say, you know, we should have actually shared this with people. Because I was a single mom for something like 17 years before I remarried, and so we only have the experience of me being married with you guys being grown up already. So you really had that experience of being with a single parent, and then you know when you go out there and negotiate life, what is that like for you when it comes to relationships, etc., etc. It's just great for people to see that it can all be good, it can all be okay. And we went through our times of having to get to know and understand one another, and we still have our little mishaps, but it's all good, it's all part of it.
I think it's not letting, I think there's a trust now with us. Even if we do kind of have an argument or something, it's not, I think we must realize that she's not that big of a thing, really.
Yeah.
As in,
I think the more healed you become, the less sensitive you are to what people are doing, because you realize it's not a lot about you really. It's more.
But also,
about
there's
them.
a thing, you're not like gonna end up holding a grudge against the person. Thing. I mean, like you can, it's like it's just a thing, and then you can like let it go.
Yeah. Because the other thing that you need to realize about being loving and nurturing to yourself is that when you think thoughts that doesn't feel good towards people or situations, you are the one that's first feeling that emotion. So the more you're critical of other people or unforgiving or resentful, that thought is creating the emotion first inside of you.
It's like you were cooking it up in here, and now it's in there.
So before it leaves, you got most of it. You got 60, 70, 80% of it, and then what you send out, the other person gets a much lower percentage. So that's just hurting yourself. So to be aware of that as well. And the importance of feeling your feelings. When it is that I'm jealous of this person or resentful, don't run away from the feeling.
Acknowledge it.
Don't push it away. Acknowledge it. Allow it to be. Breathe. Just sit and breathe with it and say, I'm just going to welcome this. I'll welcome it. And all that high frequency energy of welcoming the emotion, appreciating the emotion, approving of the emotion, accepting the emotion, now dissolves the low frequency energy.
It's like when this thing of when you kind of ignore things or you don't want to think about things, it like kind of exacerbates them, you know.
Exactly.
So instead of doing that, if you actually, like you say, you actually acknowledge it and, you know, see it and everything, it kind of takes that like wind out of the sails or whatever, you know.
Yes. You
it's
actually, there's
like
an emotional charge
it.
that you are diffusing.
Yeah,
exactly. So I also want to talk about, I have got this program on releasing, how to help you to support people through releasing unprocessed emotions and suppressed emotions. I've got a couple of programs on that, whether it is about relationships, whether it is about money, whether it is about children, raising happy children. Have a look in the link below, and you can choose which one you want to go with, which one is going to support you. It's available by donation, but we do need it in order to build our emotional independence and our emotional power. We need to address those things that needs to be healed. We need to release those toxic emotions that we've been suppressing for such a long time. So take a look at it. My audience is single moms, so I'm very much aware to make it, I don't want money to stand in the way of people getting these programs, and that is why I've made it available via donation. So this was such a great chat to have, Monique, and we will probably be doing more of these. And I just want to say to the people that are watching this video, If there's any other things that you would like us to have topics on discussing that's pertinent to your life, then please drop it out in the comments or email us so that we can actually address that, because we want to make it as practical and as helpful in supporting your negotiating life and negotiating through some tricky stuff that's out there.